I just want to start this video off by saying I love Seven Deadly Sins a lot. It's like a very near and dear series to me. It's one of those. It's probably like the first series outside of the big three that really got me into reading manga and like really got me into like really branching out into other series. Like way back when I first started. So, but that being said, I was extremely excited and looking forward to the sequel series coming out ever since I heard that it got announced. Just continuing the story. And to my surprise, I assumed that the main character is going to be Meliodas' son, but it's actually this new kid whose name is Percival, and apparently he is the main character, and we're going to be following him and his journey. So I'll definitely give my review and my thoughts on the chapter and all that good stuff, and that is what this is going to be. So before we actually get into the review of the chapter, there's one thing I gotta say. I'm going to get it out the way right now. My only real complaint here is Percival's hair looks stupid.
I look stupid. That's what you're thinking? You look stupid. Dumb.
I don't know how many people agree with me or any of that, but his hair looks dumb. Whatever all this is, I don't like it. Hopefully his design stays like how it is in like the whole color page or whatever, where he has the helmet on. Hopefully that is how he stays, because them, whatever these are, these little banana wings, those need to go. But the actual the actual chapter takes place at this place called God's Finger. It's like this, I'm assuming it's a really tall plateau type deal. I don't think it's like a mountain maybe. I doubt it's a floating island, because like they made a reference to floating islands later on in the chapter, which makes me believe that this is just probably just a really tall mountain. But one of the main things I really enjoyed about this chapter, or for it being a first chapter, is the fact that they kept it really simple. Only 3 characters got introduced in one setting. Really like kept it not a lot for the reader, but it was still really good. There's lots of good stuff here. It starts out with Percival and his granddad. There's a bird called a stone bird flying by. His granddad shoots it down with like this like pitchfork, and Percival catches it, and this is kind of what they're going to eat for dinner. This kind of like sets the events of everything that is going to happen for the chapter. So it's here we get to see like our first glance of Percival. He definitely appears to be, really athletic. He's able to catch this, I'm assuming, extremely heavy bird as he's jumping off of God's finger, and is able to, climb back up with the bird and all that. Percival preps it to be eaten, and it's one thing that I didn't even really notice the first time reading through, but there's like a mark on the bird that like fades away, and this really sets into motion everything that happens later. But mostly the whole beginning of this chapter is really just to show the relationship that Percival has with his grandfather. But it really kind of hits home because like when I was younger, I had a really close relationship with my granddad, so I can really kind of relate to just how much time they spend together. They like eat together. After they get done eating, they went and like train together and all that. So like it's one of those things where like I really do like this dynamic that they have. But like I was saying, after they get done eating, they go train together, and it's like Celtic wrestling style. And I believe this is also to demonstrate a little bit of Percival, like just to kind of give us a taste of what he's capable of, because we've seen him jump off and catch the bird earlier, but just to see him go up against his granddad, who's this big dude. Like his granddad's freaking huge. Like
Damn, boy. Damn, boy, he's thick. Boy, that's a thick ass boy.
He is so big for no reason. Like this dude is massive. This is a big man. But he's able to go against him or whatever. And his granddad even notes that I really had to try on this one. Like he almost got me. Like so it was just really goes to like etch into us that Percival is not just a average strength or an average boy. He has a lot to him. He's definitely going to surpass his granddad, obviously. With that being said, as they break apart, the granddad is doing the dishes, Percival's off doing whatever. His granddad notes that tomorrow's Percival's birthday, for him turning 16. This was a huge shock to me, because I assume Percival to be way younger, because he looks super young. Definitely doesn't look like any kind of 16-year-old to me, but manga, anime, whatever. But Percival doesn't even care. He didn't even know how old he was, which really just goes to show how detached he is from everything. And it's with this that his granddad starts telling him, like, when you're 16, you're supposed to go out, have adventures, live your life, essentially, because his granddad knows that being trapped up here on God's finger with him isn't any type of life that a person should live forever. Should definitely go out. He starts explaining to him all the different things that you can see, such as the twisting towers, knights who sails through ships of illusions, caves of countless openings that lead to hell, evil lake princesses that like tempt heroes and imprison them, and even labyrinths and forests that you can never escape. All of these things are out there, and this is like one of the amazing things about Seven Deadly Sins is because there's lots of series out there that have lots of lore and lots of setting and all of this stuff, but Seven Deadly Sins really does take advantage of it with having multiple races that are always in play, multiple different settings that are always in play. It's never just really focused on one thing or one or two things. It definitely is a fantasy series that takes full advantage of the fantasy element, and that's one of my favorite things about it. And it looks like that's going to be carrying on into the sequel. But it's really funny because in this moment, his grandfather was explaining everything. Percival wasn't even there. He just left. He left and was like, "All right, yeah, so can we go fishing to get some food? Like, I'm trying to do this fishing thing." So I was like, it was just really funny that he wasn't even there for that. And even after they go like fishing and all that, his granddad again tries to really stress the point that, hey, your dad went out when you were 16, and his Percival's like, I thought my dad died when he went out. And he's like, yeah, that's like a different story. Not really trying to get into it. For me, when I read this part, I was like, oh, okay, that's like kind of interesting. His dad died. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I just assumed his parents weren't around, just because it was with his granddad. That's typically the case when kids are with their grandparents. Their parents just aren't around. But to find out that he died was, it was really interesting. His granddad even tries to further stress the point that, living up here, wouldn't it be lonely? And we get this really innocent shot of Percival, really dumb hair aside. I get to be with you, so it's not that lonely. And it just really goes to reinforce, that how close they are as, a grandparent and like a grandkid. So after, they eat or whatever, Percival does go out at night, and he really starts to reflect on all of the things that his granddad was telling him about. And he's like, man, I really, really do actually want to go out and adventure. And, he just runs around God's finger a bunch to just kind of, burn off his excess excitement or energy. And after he's been asleep for a while, he wakes up to a knight, riding in on one of these ships of illusion that his granddad was talking about. And this knight says he shot down my messenger, and judging by how it turned out, it's definitely him. Meaning that, like, this bird that we seen earlier was definitely connected to this guy. Like, there would be no other reason for it to be in here. So when the knight pulls up, he's looking for Balgus, and we find out that Balgus is, his granddad's name. I was kind of shocked because I was hoping or expecting his granddad to be someone related to the main story, at least someone that we had heard of. But no, I don't honestly remember him or any talks of Balgus or anything like that. So it's just literally a completely different character, a whole new character. Meaning that, like, Balgus and Percival have like at least have no connections that us, the audience who may have read Seven Deadly Sins, would know of right at this moment. But Percival definitely tells him exactly where his granddad is, at the house over there, while he goes to check out the Phantom Knight's ship, or the Illusionary Knight's ship, whatever you want to call him. And as he walks away, the knight says, well, what a cruel man. He raised you while hiding the truth. And this was really cryptic to me when I first heard. I'm like, what is he talking about? Like it's like, what? Well, what could his grandfather Balgus have been hiding this entire time? But we do get to find out immediately after that, because this knight and Balgus do immediately start fighting. And I love Seven Deadly Sins fights. Just immediately crashes them into the house. They have lots of exchanges of swordplay and all this. It was really like it was just a fun to look through the panels of this fight, because it didn't get too crazy, but it was enough for me. Of course, they were appearing somewhat evenly matched until the knight started to use his magic. I mean, as we know, holy knights usually have some type of magic that they can use for the most part. And like this guy has some weird like he can do like a little 2-finger cross section, and it'll like just cut stuff and send through. So he just like straight blasts through Balgus with this. Like Balgus got no diffed by this little cross section magic attack. And this is when Percival jumps in, like, what are you doing to my grandpa? I respected the kid's vigor, but throwing rocks was not necessarily the move, because that is what he did. He attempted to throw a rock, tried to throw a bigger rock. All that did not matter at all. And his granddad tries to make an opening for him to escape. Grabs the knight, but the knight still uses his magic to just shred up Balgus right in front of Percival. And this moment was so intense, because like as he like did the magic to shred him up or whatever, like Balgus's blood is like just splashing on Percival's face, and I'm just like, man, this got so dark so fast. Like this just got horrible. Like Percival just this was a bad day for him. or at least the bad start of a day for him. That day had to be Monday for him because no other day could have started out that bad. And then the knight walks up to Percival and does like the little cross section across his like chest or whatever. And at first I was like, oh, so he's gonna take it easy on the kid, but no, because it does like massive damage to the wall of rocks behind him. Like goes all the way through it, like just blasts through it. So I'm just like, okay, yeah, I feel like he definitely tried to kill him there. He could have went all out, but I mean, the story has to continue. So with this, he basically is talking to Balgus like, I'm doing this because, there's a prophecy of the four nights of the apocalypse, and, basically he's tying up loose ends. It would be the shorthand version. I'm just tying up loose ends because, Balgus or potentially the grandson, Percival, could be one of these four nights of apocalypse, so they're making sure that they're taking care of that. And then, he walks off and it starts snowing. Really odd island. Like, I was just like, why is it snowing? But, God's finger, who knows why it's snowing. But yeah, just walks off, leaves them both for dead. And this is when like Percival gets back up and he's like, I'm sorry, Granddad, I couldn't protect you. And I'm just like, wow, this dude is actually still alive. Like, how is he even here? And his granddad is also surprising. Percival's like, it's because I trained with you every single day that I'm like this tough. So definitely training with his granddad netted him some crazy durability. Apparently, there could potentially be some type of hybrid race to him. Who knows? I mean, it is seven deadly sins. Tons of people are different races, so there could be something more to Percival. Because who knows? There could be more to his genes than we know. Just because I mean, obviously we're just gonna assume he's human, but there could be some more to it in the future. We just don't know yet. And it's in this scene that we get a really touching moment where Percival, he's really innocent. He's like, has to be all happening because I lied. When you asked me if I wanted to go out, I actually really did, even though I said I didn't. And it was really sweet because his granddad even said, when you said you didn't, it actually made me really happy. So I'm like, dang, this is like, it just sucks that it really had to end this way because they both really did appreciate and treasure each other. So it was actually a tough scene. I got a little bit of feels. It's also that he reveals that night his name is Ironside and he is Percival's father.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. First of all, you're not gonna speed past that like you didn't just say what you just said.
So it was like, whoa, like that's his dad, like like he is his father. And of course Percival wants to know why, and Balgus like, if you really want to know, you're gonna have to go and ask him because there's just simply not enough time for him to explain it, before he just dies. And it's here when his granddad leaves him with his last words, saying like, it's okay, I will be with you from now on. And he's telling him to like hope, and then he just dies. And then from here we definitely, some time has passed. I'm not for sure, I doubt it's been like a large amount of time, but enough time for him to mourn a little bit, bury his granddad, and kind of make up his mind to really set out there because there's definitely nothing here for him anymore. So he's going to go out on his adventure. He dons his granddad's helmet and his cape to give him a much better look and to hide his stupid hair. So I'm definitely very interested to see where this goes. First step of his adventure falls flat on his face. That's how you know your adventure is going to be that grand from the beginning, and that is the chapter. Now I was really shocked by all this because I was assuming that we were going to follow Tristan, Meliodas' kid, or Lancelot, Bond's kid, but no, we get this guy, Percival. So I'm really excited to see where this is gonna go. We didn't get any of them in the chapter at all, so like this really just shows how different this series is going to be. So it did mention the four Knights of the Apocalypse, which is, I'm assuming, going to be the main group that Percival is a part of. We can definitely assume for sure that it's going to be Percival, Tristan, Meliodas' son, like I just said, and Lancelot, Bond's son, like I said, but then there's this fourth person. Now, as for who I think the fourth knight is, a lot of people would immediately assume it was going to be King and Diane's child, but I don't believe this is going to be the case, just because King and Diane, that would be like a fairy giant hybrid, and as we know, giants age really, really slow. Like, they age really, really slow. Like, when King and Diane had met, Diane was already like 300 or something years old. Like, she was really old, and she was still like toddler status. So I doubt it's going to be King and Diane's child, because I just don't think they're going to be old enough. Because I want to say this is only 16 years since the end of the story. So, like, it just isn't enough time to have passed for King and Diane's child to be really useful. Now, I definitely don't think there's any possibility of it being any offspring of Merlin. I doubt Merlin is going to have a kid at all. Like, I definitely think she'll still be in the series, but I don't think it'll be her. It's one of those things where I can definitely assume. I definitely have my prediction that it's going to be a girl. Because we already have 3 guys, so it would be weird if it would just be 4 dudes. It would be kind of weird. They're definitely going to throw a girl in there. So my prediction is that Gother, the doll Gother is going to make another doll, and it's going to be a girl, like, because Gother is going to want a kid. Like, it's going to be some type of offspring or some type of descendant from Gother. I feel like Gother is going to make some type of girl child or something, girl doll, that is going to companion with them. Or it could be a new character entirely. They did mention, you know, the Sky Islands and the Goddess people, so it could be a girl from there. Who knows? I doubt it, just because Melios' kid kind of feels the whole demon goddess role in one character. So we'll just have to see who is going to be in the future. Definitely have really high expectations, or not high expectations, but really high hopes for it. Because like I said in the beginning of the video, I really did love Seven Deadly Sins. I did not like how it ended, but you know, that's a video for another day on all my rants and complaining that I could do about the series. This video is supposed to just be about the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse, which I am excited for. I'd give the opening chapter a 8.5 out of 10, just because I love how it was done. I like how they kept it simple, decent, a bit of action, and the character Percival seems like he's going to be really interesting one. Definitely am looking forward to seeing his eventual confrontation with Ironside. So that being said, let me know down below what you guys think of the chapter. Let me know, are you guys excited? Are you guys fans of Seven Deadly Sins or not? Like I said earlier, I'll put the link down below so you can check it out if you have not already read it. With that being said, make sure you guys like the video, so sub to the channel, because I will most definitely be bringing you more Seven Deadly Sins content as it is coming out. And you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all in my next video.